So today we're talking about charting with DocumentsCorePack and a little bit of a quick backstory about charting in DCP. I joined the company 7 years ago, roughly around 7 years ago. In fact, it's probably like 2 weeks, so I've been here 7 years. This is something that we've kind of talked about since I started. And it's really a feature that I've been excited about, and I'm really excited to actually be able to present this feature to you today. So just going to go ahead and show you a couple of the ins and outs here. But let's talk a little bit about charts versus tables, right? So this is kind of important. Part of the thing is when do I want to use a chart? When do I want to use a table? Now that I have this feature, you don't want to chart everything. But so I just want to talk a little bit about some of the differences of when you would use them. Tables naturally are good for seeing individual values, right? So if I have a quote with quote products, I want to see those individual line items in that quote. Whereas charts, what they do is they provide a quick overview immediately. So as you can see here, I can look at this chart and I can immediately see, kind of what's going on, get the kind of the big picture, if you will. It enables you to see patterns and trends very, very quickly and identify those. And one of the other major things about it is it displays relationships amongst whole value sets, right? So what do I mean by that? This is exactly what's shown here. I can see here for a certain account, all the activities by their activity type. I see that all in one quick glance, right? So there's a couple things that just kind of keep in mind when you're doing that, when to use a table, when to use a chart. These things, if you keep these in mind, it's very, very helpful. It's helpful to me. So I hope that's helpful to you. So let's talk a little bit about how we're going to create these charts in the DCP template designer. Okay. It's pretty much just 3 steps. Okay. There are some things you do need to know, but basically the 3 steps are: first, we're going to insert a chart. And so you're going to be inserting a Microsoft Word chart. And we support most of the chart types later on a little bit in the webinar. I'll show you a list of all the supported and unsupported chart types. And, I think there's only a few chart types that are not supported at this time. Okay. The next thing that we're going to do after we've inserted our chart is we are going to prepare our data. So basically what we're going to be doing here is we're going to be using the relationship designer to actually create our data set. Okay. And that's basically grouping in categories, doing aggregation, filtering, sorting. All that is done here in the relationship designer. So you're going to be preparing your data there. And then once we've got that prepared, we take the two and we connect the chart to the data. Okay. And basically we are just basically mapping the data to the chart field properties, via the chart field properties. So really easy process to kind of put this all together. The hardest piece to it, of course, is preparing your data. So you really have to understand your data, and it's okay to make mistakes a few times. It took me a little bit to kind of like to get this actually to work correctly. But as soon as you get the hang of it and you start to understand it, it becomes really, really simple. Okay. So today, what we're going to be showing, and we're going to basically get right into it, is we're going to be creating a simple pie chart. That's probably the easiest type of chart to create. The next is we're going to be creating a more hello, good morning. Create a more focused bar chart. All right. And last, we're going to show you how to use your global charts that you already have in CRM, and then tailor those to actually use those charts to show specific data, like say for on an account record. All right. So I want to go ahead and flip over to Word here and go ahead and go to my mscrm-addons tab. I'm just going to insert a field here. Let's see. I'm going to do this on an account. All right. And just for reference, just have the account name at the top. This is not going to be anything super pretty, but you'll get the gist of it. So in order to, one thing you're going to notice, and this actually is the template designer piece, the update that you need to do is available today on our website. The update for the DocumentsCorePack services will be going out, I believe, this weekend. And I do believe that the DCP server piece, that if you're on premise, that you need to update to, is available today for this. Michael, you can correct me on that if I'm wrong. So one thing you're going to notice as you open up your template designer, you're going to see a new section here, charts with map chart, import chart. Those are the two major new pieces that you're going to see. So let's go ahead and start doing this by doing a chart. So what I want to do is I want to insert a chart, right? So I'm going to pick my chart type. Here I'm going to pick my a pie chart. There we go. So this is a pie chart. And just go ahead and insert that. So it's going to come up here with this. You just go ahead and close this out. This is not needed. Okay. So let's go ahead and do this and this. Oh, I didn't want to do that. Move that back. Okay, so for this first chart, basically what I'm going to show is the activities by type for the account, right? So activities by type. So I can go ahead and, wow, actually do that, move things around, etc. Activities by type. That's what I'm going to show. All right, so I've got my chart inserted. Now I need to prepare my data, right? So we do that by coming over here to the additional tab, and we hit the add relationship entity button here. And what that does is it brings up my relationship designer here. So the first thing I want to do here is I want to go ahead and activate aggregation. All right, and then I want to set up my what I'm doing this to. So this is the account to the activity. So account to activity, right? Have my aggregation set up, and then I just need two things, right? I just need my activity type, right? And I need just something how I'm gonna actually count these by, number these by. So I usually just use the created on date. All right, so this activity type here, we want to group by activity type. So here you can see I have the two different sections here, the aggregation or group by. So I want to group by this column, this particular column, and the date created is I want the count of these. So this one will get me the different activity types, whether it be an email, a phone call, so on and so forth, a task. And then the date created, the count, this is going to count all of the current activities associated, related to this account. All right. So that's pretty much all I need to do here for this one. So again, it's pretty simple. So I'll go ahead and say, okay here, right? So now I need to map my data. So back over to my mscrm-addons tab here, go ahead and select my chart. Grab the field prop. Oh, wait, oops. No, see. So I need to actually map the chart, say map the chart here. And then from here, I'm going to pick my data source that I prepared. This is going to be this table 1, and say okay. All right. And then here, I'm going to pick my field properties. All right, and go ahead and map my chart here. So first I have categories and series. The way that you kind of want to think about it is, I believe, y-axis, x-axis, okay? So here for my first one, here I'm going to take the activity type here, all right? And then I'm going to, for my series, I'm going to use the created on date, say okay, and then okay again. So now I just need to save this and we can go ahead and give it a try. So let me just save this here. So we'll call this and save it, save the data. Now I can choose data here and I'll do search. And I will take this particular one here and give it a second. So there you go. There's our first chart. We have down here our appointments, our emails, our phone calls and tasks. Not a very readable chart. For me, I personally like to customize the chart. There's a particular chart type that I like, so we can do that right in here. Again, you have all the features and functionalities of Word, so you can do this. So I'd like this particular chart. I want this particular color scheme here. Okay, so you can do all this. It all goes right into. Oh wait, I always have to save first. So again, I can choose my data and just show that any changes you make, any design things that you make in your chart, it goes right in there. So for me, this is a little bit more legible. It has the numbers in there, has all that information in there. So that was a really simple example to kind of show you kind of what you can do with that. Okay. So let's go ahead and do something a little bit more complicated here. What we want to do here, so we're looking at this here. We're looking at our chart. Let's do, for our next chart, what I want to show is a bar graph, basically, that shows me all the phone call activities that I've had. And I want to have that broken out by month. So how many phone calls have I made to this account, or how many phone call activities have I created per month for this one particular account? All right. Again, here, easy enough. I want to insert a chart to start off with. I'm going to do a bar chart. Okay. And I can go ahead and close this down. I can automatically go ahead and customize my chart. I want this particular chart here. Change my colors. Customize it. And then again, so phone calls per month. Okay. So now I need to go ahead and set up my data source. So let's go ahead and do that here. Pull this on over and go ahead. And again, I want to select here the activity type. So let's see. So the activity, let's see. Activity regarding object here. Go ahead and activate aggregation. Here, what I want the activity type again. And I'm also going to use the date created again, just like I did before. All right. So here, let's go like by this. So activity type is going to be my count. Date created is going to be per month. Okay. So now what I need to do is, as you can see from the pie chart, right? This is all, I use the activity type as the group. Here I'm using it as the count, but I don't want all activity types, so I need to add a filter, right? And I do that here by going over to this section right here, and I add a filter. So it's really simple in this designer here. You just grab your filter type. So I'm going to add the filter condition, and this particular one, the attribute is activity type code. These are things that you may have to look up. This will make sense here in a second. But let's see, activity type code, activity type. Okay. And the activity type equals. And so I know just for a fact that the phone call activity type is 4210. That is my activity type. If you need to look these up yourself, you can go into Google, type in Dynamics 365 activity type codes, and you will see a big list of them. Okay, but I just don't put in phone call here. I have to use the actual code for it. All right. So I've gone ahead. I've set up this particular filter. So I'm filtering now for the activity type codes. Now, if I actually brought this in, of course, this stuff comes back. It's not sorted. So I actually need to sort this. So I come here to my sorting piece, my sorting section here. I want to sort these by the created on date, and I want to put them in ascending order. And this is going to make my chart line up. So you can see there's a little bit more to this. So you need to know, basically, you need to know your group, what you're grouping these by, what you're actually the values that you're going to have, and then your filters, and then your sorting. That's most of what you need to know, right? Okay, so I'm going to say okay here. So I've set up my data. Now, one other thing that I want to go ahead and point out, real quick. I didn't point this out in the other one before, but you can see here now that I have two different, so I have two charts, I have two different relationships here. This can get confusing. What we have here, this is a nice little quality of life update that we've put into the product here. You can actually rename these. So I can rename this actual as phone calls per month table, right? So let's go ahead and click that. Now I can differentiate between the two, right? So I'm just gonna quickly call this one pie chart, right? So now, and this is like probably for some of y'all who've used this before, this is a big feature, right? It's a nice quality of life update. Another thing that this also does for you is in the Template Explorer, you can actually see those relationships. Like if you're doing like normal relationships, like tables and things like that, you can actually see those in the Template Explorer, okay? So this helps you differentiate between the two, right? So it's really, really nice. So here I need to now, once I've done that, I need to come over here. I need to map my data for this. All right, so let's go ahead and say, let's map chart. And then choose my data source, which is nice. It's now shown up in here. So phone calls per month table. All right, great. So I've done that. So now my field properties here, right? So I need to map these things. So let's see, my category is my activity type count, and then the series is the date created on. Okay, so there you go, it's mapped up. So let's go ahead and save this, and I'm going to go ahead and run this so we can take a look at it. So let's go ahead and search. We'll use the same a data corporation. Okay, there we go. So a couple of things that I've noticed here. I've got my my sorting's incorrect. So let me go back and fix that really, really quickly. Actually, it's not my sorting, but it's my series. I got the X and Y backwards. So I can go ahead and easily fix that just by going ahead and saying create date. And then this is actually the activity type here. My series, and say okay. And then we can save, choose the data, search. And there we go. Sorted correctly. It's by month. So I have here March, April, May, June. Okay. And then the phone calls that were made on those months. Okay. So again, as you're working through this, as you can see, it's kind of really easy to get things a little bit backwards. So you play with it a little bit, and you can get this down. So, but there you go. So I have now basically a report for this account where I'm showing my activities by the type. I'm showing the number of phone calls per month. And last but not least, what I want to show you, this is a little bit of an easier way to kind of do this. If you already have charts inside of Dynamics, this last little piece, import chart, allows you to import those global charts. And then there's a real nice and easy trick that you can do to actually make it specific to actually the record that you're running it from. So I'm going to go ahead and import a chart here. So I'll just go ahead and click that. And then what I get here is I get a list of every single chart that I have inside of Dynamics. Now, some of these are not supported, some certain chart types and everything like that. But the beauty of it is if you select one that is not supported, DocumentsCorePack will tell you that. Okay. So what I want to do here is I want to know the amount of appointments that were set up per month. So per month due. So let me just find that. Appointments by month due. So I can go ahead and select that chart and go ahead, and it's pulled in. So this is a line graph inside of Dynamics. You can actually, so it automatically pulls that in there. Again, I also have the ability to go ahead and select the chart. I prefer this chart. Excuse me. You can do whatever you want. fill it in with my color scheme here to keep my color scheme all nice and easy. Now, the beauty of this is that DocumentsCorePack basically imports everything for you. Everything is already set up. If I look in here, everything's already set up. The aggregation is already set up so I have my count and the group that I'm grouping this by. Okay, so now I just want to show you this very quickly. That if I run this naturally, again, this is a global chart. So if I run it, I get every single thing from my, this is just everything from Dynamics, right? It's not record specific, it's global. So it's showing you everything in Dynamics. Like if you come onto your dashboard in Dynamics, you see, so if you have any charts on there, you're seeing everything, right? So what I really want to do to make this useful for me is have the ability to kind of narrow it down just so I'm looking at the record. So it's basically up, this chart is actually doing just the record that I'm running this against. So let me go ahead and set that up so I can just kind of grab this. What I need to do is go into this particular relationship that was generated, and I need to add a filter to it, right? So I need to filter for that particular record. So what I'm filtering for is the QID, okay? So I'll add a filter here again, and it's this particular one. So the attribute that I'm looking for here is regarding the account. So I'm running this on account record. So regarding this account, all right, and I'm choosing the operator in, and then all I need to do is put in QID. Okay, that's all I need to do that. So again, I'm just going to go over that. I'm going to show you that real quick again. So I'll edit this one more time. So attribute is regarding whatever record you're running this against. The operator is in, and the value is the QID. Okay. So once I've done that, and I go ahead and save it, now you'll see, if you remember, I think there was a nice big hump of 71 appointments there. You'll see that this has changed. And now it just actually shows me the appointments by month due for the months, March, April, May, June. And it shows me the different appointments that I have set up and when they were due. Now, again, all this is you can format this so it just actually shows the months, the month names, or, you have your month names down here. Due to time constraints, I just wanted to kind of, just show you how easy it is to pull the charts in. So real quick, just want to go back here to my thing and show you like the different supported chart types. So in this column here, we have all the charts that are supported by Dynamics 365, and all the word chart types that we support. So I'm just going to go over. So we do not support the funnel and waterfall charts, and then these stock charts, tree maps, sunburst, and histograms. We do not support that, and the tag chart. But as you can see, most other charts and a lot of your common charts, which are naturally here at the top, are ones that are supported. All right. So I want to thank everybody for coming today. I hope everyone is out there is staying healthy. You can find us, of course, on the web at www.mscrm-addons.com. Go ahead and, if you want to trial this, if you're new and want to trial DocumentsCorePack, you can find all of our add-ons on the AppSource. So it's very easy to find them, very easy to install them, and it comes with a 14-day free trial. Our help center, so a support team, if you go to our website and click on support, it'll take you right there, take you to support. We have a couple different ways you can talk to us. So feel free to use those, any kind of questions or anything like that you have on charting. You can go ahead and ask us there.